victims. Meghann, while I have you on the line here, I do want to get to an update from earlier today. We had talked about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Tom Girardi. He's the husband of Erika Jayne, for anyone who is not familiar with the show, but also very prominent, successful, albeit lawyer in Los Angeles. And he is under investigation in an embezzlement case where he embezzled millions of dollars from these victims in a victim fund. Meghann, correct me if I'm wrong, but the victims, their families, from people that died in a plane crash. They were supposed to receive a certain amount of money, and allegedly Tom embezzled millions from that fund. Well, earlier this week, a judge ruled that he was competent to stand trial. Now, go ahead and break this down, because we have been waiting for this ruling for weeks now.
We have. Judge Staten in Los Angeles held a hearing in the summer, August and September. She heard testimony from experts on both sides. Prosecution experts who said he's competent to stand trial, defense experts who said that he's not. And he actually has two cases right now, the plane crash theft and the embezzlement theft that he's charged with regarding the plane crash is in Chicago federal court. And then this is a Los Angeles federal court case where he's charged with stealing from other clients. And what's significant about Judge Staten's ruling is that it won't affect the Chicago case. The judge in Chicago is going to make her own determination regarding his ability to stand trial. I think a lot of people think that Judge Staten's ruling is going to guide her on this, but we still have another competency decision that's going to come down on this, but with Girardi. But what this definitely means is that we are looking at a trial in Los Angeles on the client theft charges. And I think a lot of people, especially in the Los Angeles legal community, are glad about that, because he was such a prominent figure in LA. And the idea of him being charged in Chicago, of course, makes sense because there was conduct there. But I think everybody in LA, and especially the LA legal community, would want him tried in California first, because he's, that's his hometown. And his conduct was such a big deal to the LA bar and really affected the California State Bar.
I do want to bring up this tweet from TMZ here that kind of was the nail in the coffin, so to speak, for Girardi. It says here, the estranged husband of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erika Jayne, accused of embezzling millions of dollars from clients, reportedly swore under his breath at prosecution, which they took as proof he understood the situation. Now, for our viewers that have not been following this case, we know but it was kind of scandalous how he made this outburst there in court. And I kind of thought maybe they would rule like, well, he is incompetent, because he would say that. But go ahead, Meghann, and detail this entire scenario for our viewers.
Yeah, so this was during the hearing, and it was soft enough that it was sitting in the gallery. I didn't hear it, and neither did a couple other reporters who were in the courtroom. But the prosecutor who was at the lectern heard it, and he actually stopped his questioning of the witness and said, "I want the record to reflect that the defendant just said F you to me." And he actually incorporated it into his questioning of the defense expert, because he was questioning a defense expert who was opining that Tom Girardi had severe dementia and Alzheimer's and wouldn't be able to participate in a trial or understand the case against him. So the prosecutor's questions to her were, does this show an understanding of what's going on? Just the fact that he's able to trace the questioning and look at the prosecutor and say that. And they really made that case in their final written brief, too. They said that just the fact that he thought to say it under his breath, Tom Girardi did, shows that he understood courtroom etiquette and decor enough that he should be able to understand the proceedings against him. So Judge Staten's ruling right now is sealed because there's so much medical information that's being discussed in here. She issued the docket order, and of course the attorneys all have an unsealed version of the order, and they're going through right now and going to tell her what they think should be sealed, and she'll make a final determination on what's redacted and what's not. But I expect next week we're going to get the actual ruling where the judge explains why she believes he's competent to stand trial. So there should be a lot more to discuss and read there for sure.
Speaking about his medical condition, you kind of look at this photo that we have here, courtesy of the New York Post, and you see Tom Girardi here on the left, a picture that came out recently, and then there at the bottom right, him with Erica Jane from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, he looks so different that it was a big question for a lot of people on their minds as to whether dementia was playing a part, because, you know, on the outside in the aspect, you could almost believe this sort of argument going into this trial.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard for me to seen him in person that anybody could say there wasn't something wrong with him. I mean, clearly he is being affected by old age, by the typical mental conditions or the mental decline that might come with old age. And it was just a question of how do you determine the line between what's natural with him and what might be an exaggeration? Because I don't think anyone would actually say that if he wanted to, he could just go back to being the Tom that you see in the photo there with Erica. But the prosecutors were saying that's not the standard for being held to trial. That he can have dementia and he can have these beginning stages of Alzheimer's disease and still be competent to stand trial. And it sounds like the judge agreed.
It almost makes you appreciate the entire process even more, because these are difficult things to have to rule on and come to that certain decision, especially so many factors to take into account. Before I let you go, Meghann, I know that a lot of people, I mean, Erica Jane is really the famous one in this couple. So for anyone that is interested, how may she be implicated in this case going forward?
She's not charged with a crime, but she is being sued by actually Jay Edelson, who is Girardi's co-counsel in the Chicago plane crash case. And Jay is actually the one who first brought the theft of money to the judge's attention in Chicago and really led to Tom Girardi's downfall. He has filed a federal lawsuit, and it's in California, against Girardi, his firm, a lot of people and employees who worked with him. And Erica is a defendant in that lawsuit. It's a racketeering, organized crime case against her, actually. And it's on hold because it's a civil case, and they're going to let Tom Girardi deal with the criminal case first. But once the criminal case is resolved, that civil case is going to pick up. And I think that is where Erica faces some significant exposure.
Meghann Cuniff, always a pleasure having you here at Live Now from Fox. And make sure, everyone, you can follow her reporting and all of the cases she's keeping up with at legalaffairsandtrials.com. Meghann, I'll be speaking with you soon because there's so many things to touch on here in this new year. Thank you so much.